Hello, gorgeous midlife queens. Welcome back to the Midlife Reinvention Queen podcast. I'm your host, Lorena Vasolo, the Midlife Reinvention Queen. And this is Midlife, unfiltered, unhinged, and unapologetic. This is the space where we unhook from all the BS narratives and conditionings that society has shoved and brainwashed us with throughout our lives, and we step into our midlife queen era. And I'm really excited to dive into today's episode. It is a spicy one, and it is a topic that I'm really passionate about and that has been driving me crazy. Today's episode is called Stop Focusing on Your Hormones and Start Living Your Life. Stop focusing on just your hormones and start living your midlife. The reason why I'm so passionate about this topic is because I see it all over social media, and I'm sure you have too, in the wellness industry, the coaching industry, doctors, specialists, and very huge platforms in the online world, really driving the narrative that the solution to all your problems, if you're a woman in midlife going through perimenopause and menopause, is focusing on your hormones, balancing your hormones, fixing your hormones, having a HRT protocol. And if you're a woman in midlife like me, chances are that you've been told that the key to feeling better and solving all your problems in midlife is fixing your hormones, whether that is through bioidentical hormone treatment, HRT, supplements, diets, exercise, blood work, labs, therapy, this and that. And there's a push all over social media by major platforms, specialists, doctors, famous women, books, and all of these narratives and all of this is telling us focus on your hormones and focus on your protein intake and your muscles and your bones. And while all of this is important, this conversation is important because we are our biology. But what drives me nuts is that that is not the end all be all. That is not the only thing we should be focusing on in our midlife as women in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Because we are not just our biology. We are whole women made up of mind, body, energy, heart, soul, our desires, our passions, our intuition. And so the truth that no one is telling us is that hormones alone are not the issue. Hormones alone are not what we need to be focusing on. And midlife is not just a biology problem. And what do I mean by this? When our body is going through transitions like perimenopause and menopause, and I'm speaking as a woman. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical specialist. I'm not here to give medical advice, but I am speaking as a woman with my own experience and as a somatic life coach who specializes in working and guiding women through the midlife portal from the perspective of the whole woman. And I focus on embodiment, energy work, mindset work, and identity work. And so from that perspective, I am seeing that midlife is not just a biology problem, and it's not a problem at all. Our hormones are a reflection of so many things, right? Not just going through perimenopause and menopause. They are a reflection of our lifestyle choices, of how much of what we eat, of what we think, of what we feel, how we are managing our stress, of how we are managing our body, and of how we have been managing trauma that we've had in life, and how we cope with life in general. And so midlife is not just about fixing your hormones. That's why I always say stop focusing on just your hormones, because midlife is a signal. It's a portal. It's a transition that is asking you to upgrade your body. Your body is doing this full upgrade, right? It's shutting down parts of your body that you're not going to need, you're not going to be using anymore. And it's literally rewiring itself, and it's literally upgrading itself. It's upgrading on every level. Your brain is upgrading and rewiring. And so your identity is also rewiring. And midlife is calling you to also focus very much on yourself, your whole self, not just your hormones. It's asking you to focus on your energy, to reclaim your connection to your body. It's asking you to look at your nervous system and how you're managing stress, how you're managing being in survival mode, and how you're managing your nervous system regulation, how you're managing stress. It's asking you to look at how you are experiencing joy in life. It's asking you to look at the connection that you have with your intuition, with your desires, with your pleasure, with your passions, with your joy, with your fulfillment. And this doesn't just come from your biology, right? And so that's why this is a topic that I am so passionate about. And so I want to dive a little deeper also, because for decades, women have been taught that midlife is a decline. It has been portrayed and talked about as a time of decline, that we have all these symptoms and there's not much we can do about it, and that we have to fix ourselves, that there's something wrong with us, right? And that there is this negative charge and narrative that is associated with going through perimenopause and menopause. And I want to completely reframe that narrative. I've done it for myself. I do it for the women I work with. And I want to offer you the same opportunity to reframe how you see your own midlife, your own perimenopause and menopause transitions. Midlife is our wake-up call. I always say midlife is our final wake-up call as women in our journey of womanhood. And it's saying to us, hey, hello, it's time to change. Whatever you've been doing up until now, it's not going to work anymore. We need to make some changes. Now is the time to edit your life, upgrade your identity. We're doing your body is changing. It's morphing. It's actually upgrading. And this is such a positive thing. But if we're only looking at it from the hormone perspective, it is very limiting. Yes, that's an important conversation to have. And it's important to look at what's happening in your body, obviously your biology. But if you are only having a hormone-focused solution, these will often fail or fall short. And here's why. Because yes, hormones are important, but they don't operate in isolation. They respond to chronic stress. They respond to lack of stress management. They respond to overgiving. They respond to emotional suppression and repression. They respond to disconnection from your body. They respond to neglect. They respond to neglected pleasure, neglected passions, neglected desires. Your hormones respond to misalignment with your identity. So your entire biology is constantly responding to your thoughts, to your feelings and emotions. It's all interconnected. So if you are just focusing on your hormones, you're missing the whole other aspect of who you are as a whole woman. And so you cannot supplement your way out of a life that no longer fits. You can't supplement your way out of bad lifestyle choices, and just like you can't mantra or journal your way out of being disconnected from your body, right? You cannot inject joy, vitality, alignment if you are not connected to your body, if you're not addressing your nervous system regulation, if you are not prioritizing your energy, your feminine energy, your joy, your desires, your passions, your intuition, your heart, right? And these are things that are important to prioritize, right? We don't hear the words heart, soul, intuition, desires, passions, joy enough in our journey of womanhood. And these are essential. They are actually essential. And here's why. Those things come from living fully embodied, connected, and sovereign lives. They don't come from just managing our hormones. See where I'm going with this? So when women focus only on labs and treatments and hormone therapy only, they miss the real transformation that midlife is calling for. They risk missing the complete, real, and full transformation that midlife is truly calling for. And that is an upgrade in your identity, an upgrade in your energy, in your embodiment, and in your alignment. It's a complete upgrade of who you are and of your entire life. And it's a fabulous opportunity for you to finally start living a life that feels truly yours. So I want to continue. So what I want you to actually focus on as well, just as much or more than you do on your hormones and your bones and your muscles as a woman in midlife, is reclaiming you. Because most women arrive to midlife having spent decades disconnected from themselves, having spent decades disconnected from their bodies, suppressing their emotions, ignoring their desires, dismissing their passions, and repressing their pleasure, neglecting their desires, and completely ignoring their feminine energy, really focusing on and disconnected from their joy. And they've spent decades in overgiving. They've spent decades overgiving, overachieving, people-pleasing, self-sacrificing, self-sabotaging, putting everyone and everything first. And midlife is your invitation to leave all that behind and to reclaim yourself, to reignite your pleasure, to reignite your passions, to reconnect with your dreams, to really reconnect and reignite your desires, to step out of the good girl, perfectionist, overgiving, overachieving, self-sacrificing princess patterns and really step into your midlife queen era. This is not about looking younger, trying to be younger. And I want to be really, really clear that this isn't about looking younger or trying to be younger or trying to become who you used to be. On the contrary, this is about fully embracing the transformation that you're going through in perimenopause and menopause, fully embracing your aging process, stepping into your wisdom. And it's about feeling alive, feeling connected, feeling confident in who you are again, feeling bold, feeling embodied, feeling sensual, feeling unapologetic, feeling radiant, feeling aligned with your needs, with your joy, with your purpose, with your passions, with your desires, with your dreams. This is key. And with your feminine energy, it is truly about reclaiming your whole, full self in midlife and beyond. And so I want to talk about this concept of start living instead of constantly fixing, because as women, we also have this tendency to constantly be trying to fix ourselves, heal ourselves, self-improve ourselves, right? We're constantly looking at how can we be better, because there's this underlying belief that there's something wrong with us, that we're not good enough just as we are, that there's something that needs fixing or something that needs to be improved in some way. So I want you to really challenge that, because often those beliefs are not true, right? We are whole and more than enough just as we are, but we have been consuming this, usually coming at from early childhood conditioning, whether it's from our family, things that we've been told, or from the school system, or from society and the bullshit beauty standards and all of the pressure that us women get to how we're supposed to be, look, speak, behave, etc. And this idea that we're supposed to be forever young and we're not allowed to age, which is another complete bullshit. So I want to talk about how to rebel against all of that and how to start reclaiming this idea that you are whole and fabulous and more than enough just as you are. And by choosing to start reframing, unhooking, by unhooking from all the other narrative that says you're not enough, and reframing, you can start living and stop fixing, stop obsessing and trying to fix yourself constantly. And here's some things that you can do to start living and start living fully and start focusing on really upgrading yourself and your life and stepping into this new identity that is longing to come out in midlife and beyond. Start reconnecting and listening to your body. Your body is the most powerful tool, vessel, instrument, home that you have to, and it's your ally. It's not your enemy. Your body is your ally. Your body is constantly talking to you, trying to guide you, trying to tell you, go in this direction. Don't do that. Do this. This is for you. This is not. This is harming you. This is benefiting you. The problem is we're not listening, right? And our hormones are not our enemies either, right? Our hormones are also messengers. They're talking to us. They're part of our body, our biology, and they're our allies as well, not our enemies. And they're there for us to notice, to pay attention, notice patterns, notice rhythms, notice sensations, notice symptoms. And they tell you what you need, right? They tell you what is lacking. They tell you where you need to make some changes. They tell you where you've been pushing yourself too much, where you've been stressing and overdoing it. And they help you. They help you figure out. They're information about you. So the more you start listening to your body, paying attention, and understanding what your body's signals, sensations, signals, and symptoms mean, the more you're going to have a much better experience and be much more empowered with insight and information as to what you need to thrive instead of struggle and suffer through perimenopause and menopause. Number 2 is prioritize pleasure. You will hear me say this many times. Pleasure is not shallow, is not a luxury, it's not a nice to have, it's not for when you have time. Pleasure is not self-indulgent. Pleasure is medicine. Pleasure is power. Pleasure equals life force for us women. And it pleasure reconnects you with your life force, with your creativity, with your aliveness, with your radiance, with your magnetism. Pleasure is a power portal, and pleasure can only happen when we are connected and when we feel safe in our bodies to allow ourselves to feel and to receive. And I'm not talking about sexual pleasure. That's one part of the picture of pleasure. There's many forms that we experience pleasure and that we activate pleasure in our lives and we receive and experience pleasure in our lives. So pleasure is key. I'm going to be talking about this particular topic of pleasure in another episode because it deserves a whole conversation, and why it matters so much, and why it's been so suppressed, and why women have been as women we've always been conditioned to be shamed about our pleasure and our desires, and to repress them instead of actually prioritize them and fulfill them and nourish them. So we'll continue that conversation in another episode. Now I'll continue talking about the things that we're doing to start living more and stop fixing ourselves so much. So I said, listen to your body, number 1, prioritize your pleasure, number 2, number 3, step into embodiment, incorporate embodiment as part of your life. Embodiment means being connected, feeling safe and grounded in your body, and being connected first and foremost. It doesn't mean that you are going to put on a flowy dress and start dancing around. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you are connected to your body and attuned to listening to what your body is needing and what your energy is needing and what your emotions are needing, and that you have a solid emotional hygiene routine that involves your body, because you can't outthink your way out of an emotional state or just do talk therapy. That is not enough, right? We know enough now to know that somatics and embodiment need to be part of the equation. Your body has to be brought on board. And that means movement, breath, sound, feeling, expression. Your body is the portal to your intuition, to your magnetism, to activating, to igniting, to allowing your energy to flow, to expressing emotions, to releasing stress, releasing trauma, releasing anxiety, calming yourself, activating yourself, receiving pleasure, expressing love, creating. Your body is the portal. And embodiment and somatic practices are fabulous, powerful, simple tools that we can use every day to bring us back to a state of being grounded, being aligned, being connected, feeling safe, and being able to release what needs to be released and keep a really good emotional hygiene. This is key for us women, for managing stress, for our mental health, our emotional health, and our physical health, because our well-being depends not just on how many times we go to the gym and how balanced our hormones are. Our well-being depends also on how we are managing our stress, how we are managing our emotions, and how we are managing our energy. And that's where somatic practices, embodiment, energy work, and emotional hygiene come into play. We'll talk more about this also in another episode and dive fully into the topic. But for now, I'll leave it there. So, number 4 of things you can do to start living more fully in your midlife and stop fixing yourself is reclaim your desires, your passions, and your dreams. And start really asking yourself and tuning in and listening to what it is that you truly want. What lights you up at this stage of your life? What is it that you're longing for, that you're desiring? What is it that you dream of? And this is such an important question to ask ourselves, and ask yourself this often, because as women, we've also been so disconnected from ourselves for so many years, and so disconnected from our bodies, from our desires or our dreams. Or maybe we've been really driven, hyper-independent, career, successful, powerful, strong, hyper-independent, big achieving women, very successful, but there's a part of you that longs for more ease, more softness, or more fulfillment, or more desire, more passion, more intimacy, more connection, more pleasure, more play, right? More wild aliveness, more magnetism, more radiance, that wants to live life from a different place, that is ready to feel more and receive more and not be doing so much. And so that's why it's so important to understand where you're at this stage of your life and really create that space to tune in to your heart, to your soul, to your body, and listen and ask yourself, what do I want at this stage of my life? What do I desire? What brings me joy? What are dreams that I have that I still want to follow? What are experiences that I'm craving and longing for? What do I need? What do I desire? What do I want? And give yourself permission to let whatever comes out, come out. And next, number 5 is focus on upgrading your identity. And what I mean by this is we all create an identity throughout our lives, and it's built on past experiences and past conditioning. And when we get to midlife, our entire biology is going through an upgrade, and so is our identity, right? Our brain is rewiring. Everything about us is shifting, changing, upgrading, literally. And so it's time, it's an opportunity to let go of outdated scripts, let go of old past versions of you that are outdated, that no longer serve you, that have been keeping you stuck, that have been keeping you in behaviors that you no longer want. Let go of behaviors, identities, past versions of you that have been keeping you in people-pleasing mode or overgiving or perfectionism, or that have been keeping you in overdoing and being hyper independent and strong and I can do it all, or that have been keeping you running on high cortisol and adrenaline and pushing through and in your masculine driven energy, but have not allowed you to fully also embrace your feminine energy and your sensual side, your playful side, your feminine, sensual, vibrant, expressive, creative side, your soft ease, your side that wants playfulness, intimacy, connection, softness, pleasure, that wants more adventure, that wants more inspiration, more excitement, that wants inner peace, that wants to feel grounded, safe, that wants to feel fully met by yourself, by life, by your partner, your relationships. And in order to do that, in order to upgrade your identity, to step and in order to upgrade your identity, and this is what I call stepping into your midlife queen era. This is why I call all of you queens, because I truly believe each of us, each of us, when we go through perimenopause and menopause, have parts of us that die, and we need to let those parts die. Just like parts of our biology are closing, shutting down, are dying off, right? Our reproductive system shuts down and we're moving on to a new stage, a new phase of our life. So do parts of our identity. We need to let those parts go, let them die, so that new parts of ourselves that have been longing to come out can rise, and parts of ourselves that maybe we've neglected, we've suppressed, we've ignored, or we've shamed, or we've hidden, we can actually give ourselves permission to explore, to rediscover who we are and who we want to be at this stage of our lives. That is the beauty of midlife. That is the power of perimenopause and menopause. That is why I say stop focusing so much on your hormones and fixing yourself, and start rediscovering yourself, start redefining yourself, start reimagining yourself, and start redesigning yourself and your life, right? Allow yourself to change. Allow yourself to change. This is so exciting to me. And it completely changes the conversation, changes the perspective, changes the narrative of perimenopause and menopause. Because think of it this way, and this completely changed everything for me and for all of the women I work with. When you reframe perimenopause and menopause as the power portal, when you look at your midlife as the most exciting portal of possibilities where anything is possible and it truly becomes your playground, you can do whatever you want at this stage of your life, and your entire biology and your entire identity is reshaping itself and rewiring itself and upgrading itself. It's giving you the invitation and the opportunity to truly become a whole new you. And this usually means not becoming just somebody what this usually actually means is becoming the you that you were always meant to be. The version of you that has been there all along, underneath the conditionings, the patterns, the behaviors, the traumas, the life, and underneath all of those things is the real you, the you that's been there all along. And it's about reclaiming who you truly are and allowing that version of you to fully shine, to be fully expressed, and to be bold and to be fully expressed in the most unfiltered, unhinged, and unapologetic way. Because my beautiful queens, like I always say, you are not here to settle for a mediocre midlife. You are not here to settle to live a life according to anyone else's rules. You are here to set your own rules, and you get to decide who you want to be at this stage of your life and how you want to live your beautiful life. And I also want to talk about remember, midlife is your invitation to break all those rules that you didn't even ask for or write, right? You get to leave behind the good girl script. You get to reclaim yourself. You get to reclaim your joy, your passions, your dreams, your pleasure, your desires. You get to reclaim yourself. And before I leave you today, as always, I want to do a little somatic visualization practice and give you a chance to experience a little bit of what I talked about today. Take a moment, sit comfortably or lay down, whatever feels better for you. Take a moment to take a deep breath, inhaling deeply in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Close your eyes if you like, gently, and go inward. Check in with your body, check in with yourself. Give yourself a moment to land fully in your body, using your breath as your anchor. And as you keep breathing in through the nose, filling up the chest and the belly, allowing everything to expand and relax and release on the exhale, Simply give yourself a moment to connect. Put your attention into your heart. You can place your hands on your heart if that feels good, and if that helps you to connect more with the energy of your heart. And ask yourself, what do I desire? What do I want at this stage of my life? Who do I want to be? What do I long for? What do I dream of? And take a moment to breathe and simply listen. There is no right and wrong. You don't need to force anything. Just allow whatever comes to come. And sometimes nothing clear comes up because we've been so disconnected for so long that it takes a moment for our body to kind of open up and for us to tune and for us to be able to tune in and listen. But the more you start creating these moments where you pause, you stop, and you tune in, you connect with your body, right? It can be through simple, and it can be just as simple as this, as taking a moment to breathe, to turn inward, to connect to your body, to your heart, to your breath, and give yourself a moment to listen. Listen to yourself, listen to your inner voice, to your intuition, to your heart. Ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want? What do I desire? And simply listen. You'd be surprised how powerful these simple practices are if we do them on a regular basis. They are not woo-woo. They are based on science, on biology, right? We are not just made of matter. We are beings of energy, of soul, of mind, thoughts, and all of these practices integrate our wholeness, and they connect us with our body. They help us to not just live from the neck up. They help us to reconnect with our whole body, to calm our nervous system, to ground ourselves, and to be able to realign ourselves and respond to life from a place of calmness, of self-awareness, and of intuition, and not just reacting from the loud voice in our mind, in our heads. So I want to encourage you to keep taking these nice, long, deep breaths in. Keep allowing your heart to speak, and keep listening to your insides and honoring what comes up. There is no right and wrong. You don't need to judge it, analyze it. You just need to accept it, embrace it, and honor it. You are wiser than you think, my beautiful queen, and so is your body, so is your intuition, and so is all the wisdom that comes not just from your mind, but from your entire being. So trust it, honor it, and when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the here and now. And I want to thank you once again for being here. Thank you for listening to this episode. It's a pleasure to connect and communicate and share with you. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a comment, share how it resonated, and share it with other midlife queens who you think will enjoy this episode. And get ready for next week's episode. And in the meantime, like I always say, crown on and rock on, my beautiful queens. Mwah. Love you.